What if success wasn't something you chased, but something you attracted? Most people never unlock their potential because they don't understand the invisible force shaping their lives, the law of attraction. Why do some people seem to effortlessly draw opportunity, wealth, and growth, while others stay stuck? It's not luck, it's alignment. In this video, you'll discover how your thoughts, emotions, and actions form a magnetic field around your future, and how to shift it to attract everything you desire. What you hold in mind, you hold in your hand. You're not just thinking, you're building. Right now, even as you listen, your mind is laying bricks, constructing patterns, shaping possibilities. Every thought you hold is like a blueprint for the life you're creating. The question is, are you building a palace or a prison? Most people don't realize it, but the future begins long before it arrives. It starts in the quiet chambers of your mind. That's where your reality is born. You might not see the results today or tomorrow, but rest assured, they're on their way. What you hold in mind, you will eventually hold in your hand. This isn't magic. This is mental physics. Napoleon Hill understood this principle long before the world began calling it the law of attraction. He wrote, "The mind is a workshop where plans are fashioned. The impulse, the desire, is given shape, form, and action through the aid of the imaginative faculty of the mind." In other words, your mind is not just a receiver of the world, it's a creator of the world you live in. You may say you want success. You may pray for freedom, peace, abundance. But if your mind is constantly dwelling on what you lack, what you fear, or what you resent, then that's what you'll multiply. Why? Because the mind, like soil, doesn't care what you plant. It simply grows whatever you feed it. If you plant seeds of scarcity, you harvest struggle. If you plant seeds of belief, you harvest breakthroughs. The law of attraction isn't about luck or wishful thinking. It's about alignment. What are you aligning with today? Look around. Look closely. Everything in your life, the relationships, the work, the energy, it all mirrors the thoughts you've been watering, the beliefs you've been repeating. You may not have chosen the world you were born into, but you are choosing right now the world you're building from here. Here's the truth. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are begins with what you consistently think. Think of someone like Jim Carrey. Before the world knew his name, before he landed blockbuster movies, he wrote himself a $10 million check. He dated it for 5 years in the future and carried it in his wallet. Every day, he visualized that moment. Not just the money, but the emotion of having earned it. The belief that it would come, and it did. Years later, he received a role that paid him exactly $10 million. That's not coincidence. That's clarity, repetition, and belief working together. And yet, most people use that same power to visualize failure. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They replay mistakes. They talk themselves out of trying, out of hoping, out of becoming. Their inner dialogue is a loop of doubt. It's too late. I'm not good enough. What if I fail? And every time they think those thoughts, they're reinforcing walls. Walls that block growth, block opportunity, block abundance. But here's what's powerful. You can choose a different thought. Right now, you can decide to think in alignment with where you want to go instead of where you fear you'll stay. You can train your mind to become a magnet for success by focusing on what builds you, not what breaks you. This is why Hill emphasized definiteness of purpose. He didn't say, have a dream. He said, have a clear, definite purpose, and focus your mind around it every single day. Because clarity creates energy. When your mind knows what it's aiming for, your life begins to organize around it. So let me ask you, what's dominating your thoughts? Are you imagining problems or solutions? Are you thinking like a victim or like a builder? Don't underestimate the power of that choice, because what you hold in mind, you hold in your hand. If you keep thinking, I can't catch a break, guess what? You'll attract more setback. But if you shift to, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm ready for more, the world starts opening doors you couldn't even see before. This is how athletes win games before they ever step onto the field. It's how entrepreneurs secure deals before they write a single email. It's how leaders influence nations. They don't wait for evidence. They hold the vision so clearly in their mind that reality is forced to catch up. Now, maybe you've been thinking the same negative thoughts for years. Maybe it feels automatic. But you weren't born with those beliefs. They were learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. Start small. Interrupt the pattern. When you hear yourself say something limiting, pause and ask, is this thought moving me closer to who I want to be? If not, replace it over and over until new beliefs become your new normal. Because repetition isn't just the mother of skill, it's the architect of reality. So if you want to attract success, you have to become the kind of thinker that success is drawn to. Think strong, think clear, think bold. Your mind is the foundation, your beliefs are the blueprints, your thoughts are the builders, and your life, the one you dream of, is waiting on the other side of that next thought. So choose wisely, because what you hold in mind, you will hold in your hand. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Everything you see around you, every invention, every business, every masterpiece, started with one thing: desire. Not vague wishing, not lukewarm hoping, but a deep, burning desire to bring something into reality that didn't exist before. You can't attract what you haven't fully claimed. Desire is the ignition key. Without it, no engine of success can start. Napoleon Hill knew this better than anyone. In Think and Grow Rich, he wrote, "Desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which transcends everything." He wasn't speaking metaphorically, he meant it literally. Everything great begins with that inner fire. But here's the problem. Most people don't truly know what they want. They say things like, "I just want to be successful," or "I want more out of life." But more isn't a direction. Success isn't a destination unless it's defined. Vague hopes attract vague outcomes. You don't get what you half want. You get what you fully claim. Definiteness of purpose. That's what Hill called it, and he was obsessed with it. To him, it was the foundation of the law of attraction. It was the message behind every story he studied, every titan he interviewed. Without clear desire, nothing else worked. Because without desire, there's no belief. And without belief, there's no energy behind your actions. Think of it like a GPS. If you plug in somewhere nice, where are you going to end up? Anywhere. Nowhere. But when you type in the exact address, suddenly the path unfolds. That's what desire does. It tells your mind, your energy, your actions, and even the universe where to go. You have to name it, claim it, own it. Take Jim Carrey. Before he was a household name, before the world ever called him a star, he sat on a hilltop overlooking Los Angeles, wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and dated it 5 years into the future. He carried it in his wallet every day. And he didn't just stare at it. He acted in alignment with it. Auditions, rejections, stand-up gigs, late nights. He kept showing up, not because he had a guarantee, but because he had a desire so clear. It felt real before it ever materialized. 5 years later, he landed Dumb and Dumber. His paycheck? $10 million. Coincidence? Maybe. But only to those who don't understand the power of desire, backed by belief. The truth is, most people are afraid to name their dream, afraid to claim something that feels too big, too bold, too different. They're worried about judgment, about failure, about disappointment. But playing small doesn't protect you, it prevents you. You weren't born to wish your way through life. You were born to want something so fiercely that it pulls you forward every single day. That's the force Hill called a burning desire. It's not just something you want, it's something you can't not pursue. So let me ask you, what's your $10 million check? What's the dream you haven't said out loud yet? Is it starting your own business? Is it changing careers? Is it writing a book, building a brand, becoming the first in your family to break the cycle? Whatever it is, it's not random. That desire was planted in you for a reason. You don't have to justify it to anyone, but you do have to define it for yourself, because desire fuels persistence. When the road gets hard, and it will, desire keeps you in motion. When others doubt you, and they will, desire keeps your faith intact. Hill interviewed hundreds of successful people, and he found the same pattern over and over. It wasn't intelligence or talent or even connections. It was desire. Relentless, non-negotiable, can't be talked out of it desire. He said, "Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat." So if your dream doesn't scare you a little, challenge you daily, and excite you deeply, maybe you're not dreaming big enough. But desire isn't passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for the universe to hand you something. It's about setting an intention so powerful that it reorganizes your world. You begin to notice new opportunities, attract new people, take bold actions, because now your energy has direction. Here's something else. Your desire has to be emotional. Logical goals don't move people. Emotional goals do. I want more money is dry. I want to be financially free so I can take care of my family, travel the world, and give back to causes I believe in. That moves you, that anchors you to purpose. And when your desire is wrapped in emotion, it becomes magnetic. That's when the law of attraction kicks into high gear. Not just because you thought it, but because you felt it and acted on it. So here's your challenge. Stop generalizing your goals. Start personalizing your desires. Write it down. Speak it daily. Visualize it in detail. Set a deadline and move. Because desire without action is just a dream. But desire, backed by belief and movement, becomes destiny. You don't have to see the entire path right now. You just have to get honest about what you truly want and refuse to let it go. Desire is the spark that lights the fire. So light it. And never let it burn out. Let it. What you do proves what you believe. You say you want success. You talk about your goals. You imagine the dream life. But here's the real question. Do your actions confirm your belief or contradict it? Because the law of attraction doesn't respond to empty declarations. It responds to alignment. And alignment means what you do must reflect what you claim to believe. You can't say, I want to be great, and then hit snooze 6 times. You can't say, I'm committed, and then give half effort. The world isn't moved by what you say. It's moved by what you show. Napoleon Hill was clear. Belief alone isn't enough. Thought is the beginning, but organized effort is what turns belief into reality. In Think and Grow Rich, he wrote, faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles. But faith must be backed by action. Faith without deeds is dead. And that's the part most people skip. They think attraction is magic. That all they have to do is sit in a room, repeat affirmations, and success will knock on the door. But Hill didn't teach fantasy. He taught discipline. He taught that your faith must move your feet, that your confidence must show up in your calendar. What you do proves what you believe. Look at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. His vision wasn't average. From a young age, he saw something most people couldn't even imagine. A skinny Austrian boy becoming the greatest bodybuilder in the world. Then a Hollywood icon, then the governor of California. That vision was bold, but it wasn't the vision alone that made it real. It was the grind. He trained like he already was the champion. He studied English while working construction. He made time for acting lessons, business ventures, and public service long before the public believed in him. Why? Because he believed in himself, and that belief showed up in his actions. Success didn't find Arnold. Arnold earned it with consistent, intentional, obsessive effort. That's how the law of attraction really works. It isn't just about thinking. You must live the belief. Ask yourself, if someone watched a documentary of your last 7 days, would they believe you're serious about success? Would your routines scream discipline? Would your habits match your dreams? Or would they see contradiction? Because the truth is, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And who you are is revealed by what you do daily. Every successful person, every single one, has a schedule, a system, a structure. That's not boring, that's belief in motion. It's what Napoleon Hill called organized effort. It's the difference between a wish and a plan. Think of Serena Williams. Her belief in being the best didn't just live in her mind. It lived in her diet, her training, her routines. She didn't wait for motivation. She moved with preparation. That's belief, that's conviction. So let's be honest. Are you walking like someone who expects greatness? Because faith isn't just what you feel, it's what you prove, even when nobody's watching, especially then. Think about the farmer. He doesn't just stare at the soil and say, I believe in harvest. He wakes up early. He tills the land. He plants the seeds. He waters them daily. Why? Because he believes something is growing, even when he can't see it yet. That's real faith. That's real attraction. It's not passive. It's powerful. Hill would say this is the gap between amateurs and achievers. Amateurs hope, achievers act. Amateurs need external motivation. Achievers are driven by internal standards. If you say you're building a legacy, but your daily choices are small, safe, reactive, then you're not building, you're stalling. And the law of attraction doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards intention. So how do you shift? You start by auditing your time. Look at how you spend your mornings. Look at what you consume, mentally, physically, emotionally. Look at who you surround yourself with. Every choice is either a deposit toward the life you say you want or a withdrawal from it. And no, you won't always feel like doing the hard things, but that's where belief is tested. When you choose to show up, even when it's inconvenient, that's when you tell the universe, I'm serious. Because movement creates momentum, and momentum attracts miracles. This is why your morning matters, why your habits matter, why your consistency matters. Not because it's trendy, but because it's a declaration. I believe I belong in the life I'm building. So let me ask you again, what are your actions saying about your belief? Are you proving your faith with your focus, with your follow-through? Or are you just hoping someone else will believe in you enough to carry the weight you won't lift? You can have the vision board, you can have the journal full of dreams, but if you don't have the action to match, it's all just decoration. The most magnetic people aren't the loudest, they're the most aligned. What they think, what they say, and what they do, they all point in the same direction. That's power, that's clarity, that's belief in motion. So if you really believe in the dream, move like it, wake up like it, train like it, speak like it, live like it. Because at the end of the day, attraction doesn't respond to empty hopes. It responds to the truth you live out loud. And what you do proves what you believe. Words shape worlds. Your words are not just sound. They are tools of creation. Every time you speak, you're shaping something. You're setting a direction. You're planting a seed. Every sentence is either unlocking your future or reinforcing your limits. It's not poetry, it's power. Napoleon Hill called it autosuggestion, and he didn't take the idea lightly. In fact, he called it one of the most critical steps towards success. Autosuggestion, Hill wrote, is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature. In plain terms, what you repeatedly say to yourself becomes what you eventually believe, and what you believe becomes your reality. So the question is simple. What words are you repeating? Because your language is either building your future or breaking it down. Say, I can't, and your mind stops looking for a way. Say, I'll try, and you're already giving yourself permission to fail. But say, I will, I am, it's done, and everything begins to change. Not because the world has shifted, but because you have. This is mental conditioning, not magic. It's how world-class performers prep their minds. It's how leaders hold vision in the face of chaos. And it's how ordinary people transform into extraordinary ones by speaking their way into alignment with the life they want. Look at Muhammad Ali. He didn't wait for the crowd to call him great. He declared it again and again and again. I am the greatest. Not once, not quietly, not with doubt in his voice, but with certainty. He was speaking to the world, yes, but more importantly, he was speaking to himself. Before he ever became the champion, he trained his mind to see himself as one. Every word was a brushstroke painting a portrait of greatness. Every declaration made it harder to believe in anything less. And that's the key, repetition. Your subconscious mind doesn't filter. It doesn't say, that's not true, I'll ignore it. No, it listens, it absorbs. And the more it hears something, the more it treats it as fact, even if it's a lie, even if it's destructive. So when you say things like, I'll never be successful, I'm just not good at this, people like me don't get opportunities, you're not just expressing frustration, you're programming your internal system to expect defeat. On the other hand, if you start speaking life, I am learning faster every day. I handle challenges with clarity. Success is attracted to my energy and effort. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. You're shaping your identity to match the outcome you desire. Hill knew this. He taught that autosuggestion was a daily ritual, not a one-time affirmation, not something you do when you're feeling good, but a discipline, a commitment to speak power into your future until the echo of your words drowns out every doubt. So ask yourself honestly, what are your daily declarations? Are you speaking like someone who's on the rise, or like someone stuck in old patterns? because your mouth is a steering wheel and your life is going wherever your words are taking it. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore pain or pretend everything's perfect, but it does mean you choose your language consciously. You acknowledge the challenge, but you declare the outcome. For example, instead of saying, "I'm so overwhelmed," say, "I'm managing more and I'm getting stronger each day." That shift matters. It changes your state. It changes how you show up. And over time, it changes what you attract, because energy follows language. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She didn't rise from poverty to power by repeating her pain. She honored her past, but she spoke her future. With grace, with vision, with intention. That's the pattern. The people who shift nations, build empires, and inspire millions. They all speak with clarity and conviction. They don't waste words. They don't use their voice to reinforce fear. They use it to cast vision. So what are you casting? Are your words reinforcing the person you were or the person you're becoming? Do you wake up and say, "Another day, another problem"? Or do you say, "Another day, another chance to grow"? Do you end your day saying, "I didn't get enough done"? Or, "I showed up, I'm progressing, and I'll win tomorrow"? The words you speak before you sleep echo into your next day. And the ones you speak when you wake up, they set the tone for what follows. That's how you shape your world. One sentence at a time. If your life feels stuck, if your energy feels low, if your belief feels weak, start by changing your words. Speak with intention. Replace old scripts with new declarations and repeat them until they become your reality. This isn't a motivational trick. It's neurological reprogramming. Science confirms it. Affirmations, visualization, and repetition restructure neural pathways. That means every time you say something empowering, you're literally rewiring your brain for belief, for confidence, for action. But only if you do it consistently. So speak like a builder, like a champion, like someone who expects their future to respond to their words. Your voice is not small. It is a tool, a weapon, a paintbrush, a sword. Use it to shape a life you're proud of. Because at the end of the day, your words aren't just describing your world, they're creating it. And what you speak, you will eventually live. Align with people who expand you. You're not an island. No matter how self-driven, how independent, how internally motivated you think you are, your environment shapes you. And more than anything else, your relationships define your results. Who you align with determines what you attract. Napoleon Hill didn't just mention this casually. He built an entire philosophy of success on it. He called it the mastermind principle, and he placed it at the very heart of Think and Grow Rich. According to Hill, a mastermind is formed when two or more people come together in a spirit of perfect harmony toward a definite goal. That harmony becomes a third, invisible mind, a higher intelligence, greater than the sum of its parts. Let that sink in. When you join forces with the right people, people who think bigger, aim higher, and push harder, you don't just double your chances of success, you multiply your power. Look at Henry Ford. He wasn't a lone genius in a garage. He was surrounded by a mastermind alliance of great minds, people like Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone. Together, they didn't just build companies, they built industries. They didn't just chase wealth, they shaped history. Not because one man had all the answers, but because he knew who to align with. Now here's the truth most people avoid. Your results are a direct reflection of your circle. If you're surrounded by complainers, guess what? You'll start finding reasons to complain. If your conversations are filled with gossip, negativity, and excuses, you'll start echoing them without even realizing it. That's the law of association. It works for you or against you, but it never turns off. Energy is contagious. Mindsets are viral. If you spend enough time around average thinking, average becomes your ceiling. But the opposite is just as powerful. Spend time with people who challenge you to grow, who expect more, think deeper, move faster, and your standards will rise. Your habits will sharpen, your goals will stretch. That's the power of alignment. Ask yourself, who in your life expands you? Who makes you think bigger, feel bolder, act braver? Who inspires you to become a higher version of yourself just by being in the room? And then, on the flip side, who are the anchors, the energy drainers, the people who minimize your ideas, question your ambition, or pull you back into comfort every time you step toward growth? You know who they are. Now, you don't have to hate them, you don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to choose your proximity wisely. Because growth and comfort do not coexist. And often, the people who keep you comfortable are the same ones keeping you small. Napoleon Hill warned about this. He said that many people never reach their potential simply because they form alliances without harmony, without purpose. They settle for convenience over intention. They confuse proximity with partnership. But just because someone is close to you doesn't mean they're good for you. A real mastermind alliance is built on trust, mutual respect, and shared elevation. It's not just hanging out, it's sharpening. It's surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision before it's obvious, and who speak to your future, not just your past. Think about Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. On their own, they were brilliant minds. Together, they built Apple, or Oprah Winfrey and her longtime confidant, Gayle King. Behind the scenes, Gayle wasn't just a friend. She was a mirror, a motivator, a supporter of Oprah's rise. These relationships weren't lucky, they were intentional. And that's your challenge today, to be intentional about who you align with. So take inventory. Look at your circle. Are you inspired or just entertained? Are you being stretched or just pacified? Are you in rooms where your ambition is nurtured or dismissed? Because the law of attraction doesn't just apply to thoughts. It applies to people. You attract what you tolerate. And if you're tolerating low standards, low energy, or low vision in your circle, you're sending a signal that says, "This is my level." But you can change that today. You can start seeking out growth-minded people. Join mastermind groups. Read the books your heroes are reading. Attend events where future-focused people gather. Add value to others so you attract value in return. Align with mentors who've walked the path and peers who are just as hungry as you. And most importantly, be the kind of person you want to attract, because your energy will always find its match. That means showing up with consistency, communicating with clarity, serving with excellence, investing in your growth so when the opportunity comes to partner with a high-level thinker, you're ready. Remember, no one climbs alone, even the most iconic individuals. Einstein, Edison, Carnegie, King, they all had counsels, collaborators, and allies. Success is not a solo sport. It's a collective elevation, so build your inner circle with care. Guard your energy with wisdom, and choose to align with people who see your greatness, not your limitations. Because when you align with people who expand you, everything expands. Your mindset, your results, your future. And that's not a maybe, that's a law. Master your emotions, or be mastered by them. You've heard that success is about strategy, skills, or smart decisions. But here's what most people miss. Success is emotional, not in a vague, motivational way, but in a deeply practical one. The law of attraction doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion. It responds to the energy you project. And nothing reveals your energy more clearly than how you manage your emotional state. Napoleon Hill was blunt on this point. He said, "Until you learn to control your emotions, you will never learn to control your money, your career, or your fate." That's not a suggestion. That's a law. Look around at the people who stay stuck. It's not because they're not smart. It's because they're reactive. They make emotional decisions in moments of fear, frustration, or insecurity. They get knocked off course by a bad comment, a small loss, or an unexpected delay, and they spiral. But those who rise, they choose emotional discipline, because when everything is shaking around you, the most magnetic thing in the world is stillness. Think of Serena Williams. Her skill made her a champion, yes, but her composure, that's what made her dominant. Watch her in the middle of a tense match. Her heart is pounding, the crowd is roaring, the pressure is crushing, and yet she controls her focus, her breathing, her mindset. She doesn't let her emotions play her. She plays them. That's power. That's emotional mastery. And that's exactly what the law of attraction responds to. Clarity, confidence, and calm. Anger repels. Fear shuts doors. Anxiety clouds your vision. But gratitude opens. Confidence invites. Faith accelerates. Every time you feel gratitude, your energy expands. Every time you choose calm in chaos, your signal strengthens. Every time you act from confidence instead of doubt, you attract people, ideas, and opportunities that match that energy. But emotional control doesn't come naturally. It's trained. It's a decision you make every day to not let your emotions hijack your future. You might not control what happens around you, but you always control what happens within you. And that's where real attraction begins. Not with perfect conditions, but with internal command. So what does that look like? It means when someone criticizes you, you don't instantly react. You pause, you breathe, you evaluate. Because reactions are slave to the moment. But reflection is a master of momentum. It means when fear rises, because it will, you don't suppress it. You face it. You ask, what's true here? What's the lesson? What's the next step I can take despite this feeling? It means you don't let temporary emotions create permanent outcomes. Hill called this emotional intelligence long before the term was popular. He believed your ability to manage fear, anger, jealousy, and doubt was more important than raw intellect or talent. Because in his study of successful people, that was the constant. They didn't let emotion sabotage execution, and that includes you. You want to attract wealth? Practice calm when bills show up. You want to attract love? Practice grace when you feel rejection. You want to attract growth? Practice faith when progress is slow. Your emotions are either tools or traps, and how you use them will determine what you attract. Let's make this practical. Next time you're overwhelmed, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this emotion trying to teach me?" Is it a signal you need to slow down, refocus, set a boundary? Or maybe it's just noise left over from the past. Either way, don't fight it. Face it, name it, and then choose your response. Because emotion isn't the enemy. Unmanaged emotion is. The goal isn't to be robotic. It's to be resilient. It's to feel without being ruled. To stay centered even when storms hit. And they will. You will face setback. You will encounter criticism. You will have days where nothing goes right. But your power isn't found in avoiding those moments. It's in mastering who you become in them. Emotional mastery doesn't make you less human. It makes you more in control. And that's what the law of attraction responds to. Not perfection, not luck, but presence. When you show up grounded, steady, and clear, you become a magnet for everything that matches that energy. So ask yourself, when pressure hits, do you spiral? Or do you rise? Do you let fear control your next move? Or do you choose faith anyway? Do you need circumstances to be calm before you are? Or do you become the calm that changes your circumstances? Because in the end, it's not your goals that determine your success. It's your emotional stability while you pursue them. So breathe, center yourself, choose gratitude over anxiety, choose vision over reaction, choose discipline over drama. Because if you don't master your emotions, they will master you, and your future is too important for that. Act like the future you want is already real. You don't get ready after success shows up. You get ready before, and that belief draws it in. This is one of the most overlooked truths about the law of attraction. People wait. They say, "I'll act successful when I make money," or "I'll become disciplined when the opportunity comes." But that's not how energy works. That's not how attraction works. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. He taught that faith is believing in things not yet seen and acting on them with certainty. Not hesitation, not maybe, but certainty. Faith, to Hill, wasn't passive hope. It was bold movement in advance of evidence. You must act as if the vision is already unfolding. Walk like it, speak like it, think like it, and above all, live like it. This is not pretending. This is alignment. Look at Walt Disney. When he looked at empty acres of dirt and grass in Florida, others saw nothing. He saw castles, parades, magic. He walked the grounds before a single brick was laid, pointing out where rides would go, where laughter would echo, where dreams would live, and he didn't wait for others to believe it first. He believed it enough to move. That's belief in motion. That's the key. If you want to attract success, you must embody it now, before the crowd, before the money, before the recognition. Because the energy you hold today shapes the doors that open tomorrow. Ask yourself, would the successful version of you scroll for hours or study for one? Would they gossip or grow? Would they sleep in or rise with purpose. Dress rehearsal is over. It's time to play the part, because the way you carry yourself tells the universe what level you expect to live at. The standard you set today becomes the floor of your future. So set it high. Set it like you've already arrived. This doesn't mean faking it. It means being faithful to the version of yourself you're becoming. Start with your routines. Are they built around who you used to be or who you're committed to becoming? Do you make decisions from fear or from vision? Do you wait for motivation or do you move with discipline? Do you say, someday, or do you act like it's starting now? The difference between those who hope and those who manifest is that the latter act ahead of the reward. They don't say, I'll be confident when things work out. They say, I'm confident, and that's why things will work out. This mindset shift is critical because the law of attraction doesn't respond to need. It responds to identity. You must stop chasing success like it's outside of you and start becoming the kind of person success is drawn to. It's about being congruent. You can't say you want to be a leader but avoid responsibility. You can't say you want wealth but keep a poverty mindset. You can't say you want health but act like your body is optional. Alignment is everything. Napoleon Hill wrote, "There is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. That readiness is measured by how you live. It's not just mental, it's physical, emotional, spiritual. Are you showing that you're ready for the life you say you want? Or are you waiting for proof before you act? Because here's the truth, your future doesn't start the day you arrive. It starts the day you act as if you already belong there. So start today. Speak from your vision, not your fear. Show up with intention, not impulse. Move like someone who's already being watched by opportunity. And don't wait for permission. The world doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards conviction. That's what actors understand. That's what entrepreneurs understand. That's what leaders understand. They don't wait to feel worthy. They don't ask for the role. They step into it. That's your call today. You're not preparing to be successful someday. You're training to embody it now. Every decision, every habit, every hour, it all counts. It's all creating momentum. So play the part, speak the part, live the part. Because when you start acting like the future you want is already real, it starts becoming real. And that's not a trick. That's alignment. Be grateful for the things you haven't received. Yet gratitude isn't just a polite gesture. It's not something you practice only when things go your way. Gratitude is alignment. It's the emotional signature of abundance. And it's one of the most powerful tools in the law of attraction. Napoleon Hill said it plainly. No major success can exist without a foundation of gratitude. He understood that gratitude wasn't just a nice idea. It was a vital principle for receiving anything meaningful in life. Why? Because gratitude is proof that you believe, that you expect good, that you are ready for more. But here's where it gets truly powerful. Being grateful before the thing arrives. That's not delusion. That's faith. It's easy to give thanks once the goal is met. The check is in your hand, the opportunity confirmed, but by then, you're reacting to result. True power is when you respond with gratitude to the unseen, when you appreciate the future before it manifests. That's what alignment looks like. Think about it. When you're genuinely grateful in advance, your energy changes. You move from wanting to welcoming. You stop begging and start preparing. You stop doubting and start aligning because you no longer need proof to trust. You already know it's coming, and that's what draws it in faster. Denzel Washington said it in nearly every speech. Put God first. Be grateful in advance. He doesn't just thank after success. He thanks before the victory shows up. He believes in the power of preparing your spirit with gratitude, as if the outcome is already done. And that's the message here. Gratitude isn't a response. It's a signal. It tells the universe, I'm already living on the frequency of fulfillment. And the law of attraction responds not to desperation, but to certainty, not to fear, but to faith. Gratitude bridges that gap. So how do you live this? You begin every day with appreciation, not just for what is, but for what's on the way. You don't just say, thank you for today. You say, thank you for the doors opening, the ideas coming, the people aligning with my purpose. You see the vision, and you say thank you as if it's done. This is not pretending. This is practicing the vibration of abundance. It's stepping into the mindset of someone who knows that success is not a question of if, but when. And that energy is magnetic. Gratitude sharpens your awareness. When you're thankful, you start noticing opportunities that were always there, but hidden behind your stress, doubt, or fear. You think more creatively. You move with more grace. You become more open to solutions. Why? Because gratitude quiets fear and amplifies clarity. Hill believed gratitude helped dissolve inner resistance. He saw people block their own blessings because they were so fixated on what they lacked. When you focus only on what you don't have, you signal that you're unready for more. But when you appreciate what is and what's to come, you open yourself to receive without friction. Imagine if a farmer only celebrated the harvest. That's backward. A wise farmer gives thanks before planting the seed, trusting in the power of the soil, the sun, the rain. Why? Because they expect the growth. That's how gratitude works. It's proof of expectation. So ask yourself, what are you expecting? Are you waking up focused on everything that's missing? Or are you waking up with a quiet confidence that says it's already on its way? Because what you appreciate, it grows, it multiplies. And not just in theory, but in reality. You start attracting more of what you acknowledge. So start simple. Take 5 minutes each morning. Before you check your phone, before you dive into the day, speak out loud what you're thankful for. Not just what you have, but what you believe is coming. Say it like it's already happened. I'm grateful for the new opportunities showing up today. I'm thankful for the clarity and confidence guiding my decisions. I appreciate the financial growth, the aligned relationships, the peace that surrounds me. This may feel strange at first, but over time, you're retraining your nervous system to respond with joy instead of panic. You're rewiring your brain to focus on possibility instead of limitation. And soon, you'll start noticing things shift. Your mindset, your language, your interactions, even your posture. You'll stand differently when you stop chasing and start receiving. And people will notice, because gratitude is visible. It's vibrant. It shines in your attitude, your voice, your decisions. Gratitude makes you magnetic, not because it manipulates the universe, but because it aligns you with it. So it says, I trust the process. I expect the best. I honor what's already mine, even if I can't see it yet. That's not wishful thinking. That's power thinking. So today, stop asking with desperation. Start appreciating with faith. The more you thank life in advance, the more life shows up to match your gratitude. Because when you're grateful for the things you haven't received yet, you're already halfway there. Stop negotiating with doubt. Doubt is not your advisor. Doubt is a thief, a liar, a whisper that pretends to be wise while quietly stealing your power. And yet how often do you sit down with it, entertain it, let it speak louder than your dreams? Doubt will offer you every excuse to quit, every reason to wait, every justification to hold back. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't argue, it suggests. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse it with logic. You'll mistake it for safety. You'll call it being realistic, when in truth, it's just fear dressed in disguise. Napoleon Hill didn't mince words when he spoke about doubt. He called it a fear-based parasite, a mental invader that feeds on your confidence and starves your ambition. He saw it not as something to wrestle with, but something to remove. Because as long as doubt has a seat at the table, your potential is on pause. You can't attract the life you want while negotiating with the voice that says you don't deserve it. You've got to silence it, replace it, bury it with belief. When Henry Ford was building his dream of a horseless carriage, he was mocked, laughed at, labeled insane. People told him it was a fantasy, that it would never work, that he was wasting his time. He didn't just face doubt from the outside, he faced it from within. And yet, he didn't flinch, he didn't retreat, he didn't water down his vision to make others comfortable. He burned the bridge to retreat and walked forward anyway. That's what winners do. Not because they're fearless, but because they know doubt is not a compass, it's a cage. So what about you? Are you feeding your faith or fueling your fears? Because every time you repeat that story in your mind, the one that says, I'm not ready, or it's too late, or who am I to do this? You're programming yourself for hesitation, and hesitation kills momentum. It kills confidence. It kills vision. Doubt is like rust. It doesn't need to break you in one blow. It just needs to sit there, quietly, consistently eroding your edge. That's why you have to catch it, confront it, and crush it. How? You replace it with truth. Truth that says, you were not given this vision by accident. You don't need permission to rise. You don't have to wait until you feel ready to act boldly. You have already survived worse and grown through more. You are capable, even when it doesn't feel like it. Start there. And say it daily. Say it like a declaration. Say it until your nervous system believes it. Because your future depends not on how loud the world believes in you, but on how consistent you are in believing in yourself. Doubt grows in silence, in secrecy, in spaces where confidence hasn't been declared yet. But the moment you speak your truth, the moment you act in alignment with your vision, doubt starts to dissolve. Think of someone like J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers, unemployed, a single mother on welfare. The world told her no again and again, but she didn't negotiate with doubt. She wrote, she rewrote, she kept going, and eventually, she didn't just publish a book, she built an empire. She didn't wait for approval. She trusted the fire within her more than the fear around her. You can too, but it requires a decision. A refusal to give doubt space in your mind or your plans. Become the person that success is looking for you. Don't stumble into success. You grow into it. Success isn't a destination. It's not just a title, a bank account, a moment in time. Success is a version of you. A version that thinks differently, speaks differently, moves differently. A version that is shaped by vision and disciplined by purpose. Napoleon Hill taught this with precision. In his final principle, he made it clear, you must become success conscious before you become successful. In other words, your outer life is a mirror of your inner identity. If you want to rise on the outside, you must first evolve on the inside. So ask yourself, are you becoming the person your dream life requires? Because here's the truth, you don't get what you want. You get who you are, and that changes everything. If you want to attract confidence, you must become courageous. If you want to attract wealth, you must become responsible. If you want to attract leadership, you must become disciplined. If you want to attract love, you must become loving. The law of attraction isn't about chasing, it's about aligning. You don't beg for opportunity, you prepare for it. You don't hope someone else opens the door, you train yourself to be the one who's ready when it does. Think of Steve Jobs. He didn't just build Apple, he became the kind of person who could lead it. He studied design, not because he had to, but because he cared about simplicity. He mastered communication, not because someone told him to, but because he knew his vision needed clarity. Jobs didn't attract greatness by luck. He became the kind of person who demanded it, through standards, through vision, through resilience. He shaped himself until success had no choice but to follow. And that's your path too. But most people miss this. They think success is something they'll handle once it arrives. Once I make money, I'll be disciplined. Once I get the job, I'll act like a leader. Once I'm in a relationship, I'll become more patient. It doesn't work like that. Success doesn't change you. It reveals you. It brings out the preparation or exposes the lack of it. You have to build the character first, the resilience first, the self-worth first, because without it, even if success comes, you won't be able to hold it. That's why some people blow up overnight and crash just as fast. They received the prize, but they never became the person worthy of keeping it. So how do you become the version of you that success is searching for? You start from the inside out. You develop self-respect, not ego, not arrogance, but a grounded knowing that your time, energy, and vision are worth protecting. You build resilience because the path will test you, doors will shut, people will doubt you. But if your mindset is strong, nothing can shake you for long. You strengthen discipline because dreams aren't built in bursts of motivation. They're built in repetition. In the mornings, you don't feel like it. In the silence, in the setbacks, in the grind, you grow emotional maturity. Because success isn't just about achievement, it's about handling pressure with poise. When you react less and reflect more, you step into real leadership. And most of all, you cultivate belief, not fake confidence, not empty affirmations, but deep, unshakable faith in your ability to rise, to learn, to adapt, and to lead. This version of you is already within you. It's just waiting to be activated. But it won't come through waiting. It comes through becoming. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. You can't blame the world. You can't wait for better luck. You have to decide today that you will rise into the version of you that matches the future you desire. That means asking different questions. Not what do I want, but who do I need to become? Not when will success come, but what am I doing to prepare for it? Not why isn't it happening yet, but Am I operating at the level that invites it in? Because everything changes when you shift from chasing outcomes to building identity. That's when your energy shifts, your habits evolve, your mindset matures, and the world starts responding to you differently. Not because your circumstances changed, but because you did. So stop asking if success will come. Start asking, am I becoming ready for it? If your dream requires leadership, are you practicing integrity when no one's watching? If your dream requires abundance, are you managing your resources with wisdom now? If your dream requires visibility, are you learning how to speak clearly and stand tall under pressure? This is the hard work behind the highlight reel. This is the becoming that precedes the breakthrough. And no, it's not always glamorous, it's not always fun, but it's always worth it. Because once you become the version of you that success recognizes, it finds you, it seeks you out, it matches your level, it mirrors your identity. So what's the next version of you asking for? More focus, more courage, more humility, more consistency? You already know. Deep down, you already know who you need to become. Now live into that version. Train like them, speak like them, think like them, decide like them. And one day, the life you once imagined will show up, not as a surprise, but as a reflection of who you've become. Because success doesn't follow the lucky, it follows the ready. So become the person that success is looking for. And don't look back. Success begins within you. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with your vision, the law of attraction responds. So believe boldly, act intentionally, and speak your future into existence. You're not waiting for success, it's waiting for you. Start living as if it's already yours. The shift begins now.